Hi, this is Vanessa with DMA Real Estate, and as promised, this is one of the videos that I'm going to add to my collection on my new YouTube channel. And I'm super excited to have as my first guest, who needs no introduction to us, the GOAT himself, Garrett Thill. He is the broker owner for DMA Real Estate. Our jefe, my boss. I'm happy to call you my friend. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, this is great, Vanessa, to be the first one. It's I'm excited to be on episode 1.
I know. I'm really excited that you're doing this with me.
Cool.
And taking on this project, so it just kind of lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
I know that you just got in from Idaho. Was your trip okay?
It was good. It's a little bit cooler than it is right now. It's a little bit hot, so just got walked inside, and it's about 50 degrees warmer outside than it is inside. So acclimating. So this is great, though. Be glad to be back in my hometown here.
Yeah, I know it's a little hard to acclimate to the weather down here right now.
Definitely, yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
I know when I joined DMA, you were already gone. So now you're in Idaho. What's the biggest difference with the Idaho market and the market here in the Imperial Valley?
Gosh, that's a great question. So I think the market in Imperial Valley is different than it is in many other places around the country. It's such a kind of a closed off little region where we have our own living economy. We have amazing, great jobs that kind of never go away. They're essential jobs, which you don't see that anywhere else. I mean, there's going to be a ton of law enforcement. You've got large prisons, you've got border patrol, you've got customs, schools, all these things that are required that you can't just shut down. So in other economies, you'll have small businesses, and not all small businesses are going to succeed. So they'll kind of come and go, so that really fluctuates a lot more. But in Imperial Valley, it's such a steady stream of people needing houses because there's plenty of jobs we had, and they're really strong, stable jobs too.
100%. And I think that was one of my biggest motivations to start this, is that I see so much misinformation and so much of our clients getting discouraged from buying and kind of steering away from it because they see the news, and there's so many markets that are just they hear some parts of the news that are talking about regions that have nothing to do with the economy here, which is exactly just like you said. It's so strong and it's completely stands on its own.
So different. There's lots of cities around the nation that had an influx where they had people moving in, and it kind of almost didn't make a real estate bubble, but it really kind of came on itself to where they couldn't keep up with new construction. Right. There were these towns that were really growing across the nation because COVID was a perfect example where people, when you're locked down in your home, you realize, gosh, I can work remote and I can work from anywhere. So our jobs here didn't really have that possibility as much. So other places around the nation, they got up and left, and they kind of went to these bigger cities to where they kind of overpopulated. And some of them went through, that you hear on the news that you're talking about, they kind of went through a little bit of a bubble where they had prices kept climbing because they had such an influx of people coming in, and then all of a sudden, there's no more people, kind of COVID's over, and now we're kind of back to normal. And so a lot of those prices kind of adjusted back down a bit in other markets, but we've been so steady in Imperial County, which is really unusual throughout the nation,
right? Because
jobs are here and they're not leaving. So all we have is more jobs coming in. You've got the lithium coming in. You have more people coming in, which means more law enforcement, more school teachers. So that's never going to change. You're never going to see this Imperial Valley bubble where all of a sudden you're going to have thousands and tens of thousands of jobs leave like you do at other places around the nation.
And the demand for housing is just so incredible right now. Yeah.
And I think you're always going to have the demand. I mean, I think we can all agree that people always need a place to live. So people are always going to need to have housing. So you're either going to be, owning a home, or you're going to be renting. And we don't see those prices going down because there's such a demand here. We don't see, what could happen and why housing prices go down is inventory. And if you have too much for sale where too many people are leaving, and then you have all this inventory sitting, which we haven't had that for years and years and years, except for the financial crisis, which was caused by the banks doing bad loans. We don't have any of those bad loans.
Right.
So, we do hear a lot of people, and your clients I know as well, you've had clients that say, we're going to wait and see what's going to happen. All that we're seeing, we've been hearing people say that for the past 4 or 5 years, and we've been trying to get the word out that's not going to happen. And all we're seeing is housing is never going to get cheaper, and especially renting is going to continue to get more and more expensive.
So I think one of the biggest questions that we have around here is, which one of us is your favorite?
Oh. That's amazing.
I'm just kidding.
That's great.
No, it's always really fun to see you. We don't get to see you
Yeah,
much, but it's nice.
I
to
know.
have
You know what? The good thing about Zoom, I always tell people, I said, DMA knew how to use Zoom before COVID. Like, we're one of the few people that I swear knew how to use Zoom. So every time I'd do a Zoom before COVID, we'd always have to explain to people, or when I was, remotely, I'd have to explain to people, okay, now you download Zoom. They say, what's Zoom? But
Right.
now you talk about Zoom, it's like everyone knows what Zoom is since COVID. So just still having that personal touch where you can see faces and talk to everyone on a weekly basis, it still feels like I'm here. And when I get here, it doesn't feel like so foreign. I think just because I'm always communicating with everyone here.
100%.
So,
yeah. I know. I remember when I joined. It was, when I think it was during COVID, or I think right when COVID hit.
Right
yeah.
around there.
So
yeah.
it was, all about the Zoom. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
But so recently, I was asked by one of my buyers. It's a really tough market to get offers accepted and stuff, and they asked me what my best advice was as a buyer. What would your best advice for your buyers
as far as
be?
getting an offer accepted?
So there it is, guys. The first of more to come is completed. Unfortunately, a huge chunk of this video was damaged, but I was very grateful to kick this project off with GT as my first official guest, so it's staying, and I'll be able to learn about technicalities as I move forward. If there's any content that you are curious about or people you'd like to see me talk to in reference to real estate, let me know. I hope you enjoyed it and that you stay tuned for the next one.